Alright guys, I'm back again. I apologize about the previous video. It looks like I ran out of storage. I had to clean that out, delete some files, and make some room because I ran out of record time. So, where was I? Okay. I left off with prior to coming here, which was the first week of March, this past March. Now, mind you, when I got here, I was in a state of my whole world just exploded. Coworkers that were like my family, and same routine and neighborhood for the last 2 years, and pumping all this, investment of paying rent and everything to end up with nothing except my car packed with, based on priority, what I felt was important. So I had a big flat screen TV, didn't make it here with me. Things like that, that I had worked very hard to build up for myself again. But I realized, well, those things are only temporary anyways, and they're replaceable. So we just had a full moon. And this full moon in Aquarius is really highlighting a lot of transformational shifts in my life. So what ended up happening is this guy and I became like, I want to say borderline obsessed with each other. And this place that we're at, there's a lot of people. There's different dorms. It's all bunk beds. There's shower stalls, bathroom stalls, a cafeteria where we all eat, a community services building where people can go to charge their phone or get on the computer. And then on the campus grounds, it's all open space, basketball court, grass and trees, and one laundry facility. It's like wherever you go here, you're going to be around other people. And for people like me who require a lot of solitude, it's been very difficult. So back to this relationship that crashed and burned as quickly as it started. For myself, I'm a Capricorn, and I've had a lot of terrible relationships in my history. Not putting any blame on anybody, myself or the other party, just a lot of terrible relationships. That's what happens when two people who aren't healed and whole come together and try to form a union. So the way I like to explain it is, if you looked at yourself and gave yourself a good hard look right now in the mirror, everything, your dreams that you've accomplished, the way you look, your comfort level, your income, whatever it may be, happiness, what would you give yourself? Like, if I looked at myself, I'd say I'm probably about 75% out of 100. I'm not 100 though. And so I will only be able to give my potential partner 75% maximum, because that's all I contain. But if I keep building myself up and working on myself and healing and coming into my God self, as I like to call it, your whole self, empowered, then I would be at 100, and then I would rightfully feel like I would deserve being in a relationship with somebody. But unhealed version of Jen just fell for all the sweet talk and the I love yous and the promises that always get broken. And I don't know what happened to me. It's like a spell was put on me, and that very much plays a part too in different ways. For those who also don't know, I'm heavily all eyes on me, targeted, watched, spied on, followed, gather information, flybys all the time, drones and different radar. And this campus where I am is directly next to a prison and directly next to an airport. So needless to say, IYK. If you don't know, I would highly suggest getting educated on our government's websites like war.gov so you can see actually what's actually going on with these drones and radar and tracking humans and blah, blah, blah. So, as far as substances go, that's the other factor in this. I am somebody who all my life I have used cannabis for medicinal purposes. I was prescribed psychiatric harmful medications for 30 years. I ended up with a scar on my wrist for life, 15 stitches. I'm a suicide survivor as of 2011, and that was when I was prescribed Prozac. I attempted suicide while prescribed Prozac under doctor's care. So, since that pivotal point, I've always been searching for, okay, I don't really want to die. I want to live my life, not just exist through it or have to conform or do this or wait or be this, just to live my life. And until now, I've never had that opportunity. I became a mom very early at 22. I devoted all my mom energy into my kids. And then when they grew up and I went through these, traumas and personal experiences, I never really learned how to stand on my own 2 feet. I mean, I have been on my own for most of my life. And I've learned, to be book smart and street smart. However, I never really had to rely on myself. I always had like my dad or a boyfriend or whatever, some drug I could escape with or something, What I go through now is different, though. It's on a different level, and I'm going to keep advocating for myself until I receive the proper medical care that I deserve and should have. Being autistic, or on the spectrum, whatever they call it now, I was in the 80s when I was being tested, so they don't really know shit about shit. So I require a stimulant type therapy. I drink a lot of caffeine. I use a lot of nicotine every single day, and I have since I'm about 15 years old. I've been side hustling, giving people rides to the store or wherever they have to go to keep gas in my car. I have not been able to find a job in the 4 months that I've been here, although I've put out over 100 applications and went on 5 different interviews with constantly being told, okay, we'll call you back for the second interview or you'll hear from us and you never do. So I really went through a depression the last couple of months. I was like, well, I've lost everything I spent almost 7 years building up for myself. So in 4 months' time, I made stupid choices. Not that that was all the blame, but my focus certainly went off of myself and my path and my spiritual calling as well. That was the clincher for me. Long story short, too late, I know, but bear with me. The pain and agony is almost done. Just kidding. A couple months ago, I was exited from this shelter because I couldn't find a job. So you only have a certain time limit that you can stay. Well, their rule here is once you're exited, you have to wait 14 days, 2 weeks, before you can reapply for a bed. Well, I went to this campsite in a tent with my cat and with the ex, with all his promises of he set it up, they have solar panels, there's a water source there. I might not even want to come back to the homeless campus. And I was like, cool. So I went there blindly, of course, and nothing was as he said. 1 week in, big blowout fight. He finds an excuse, and I knew this was going on because I was reading the energy about it, that he had already been on to the next chick and was looking for that out, just anything he could use as his, well, now I gotta go. And that's exactly what he did. He dipped out on me after making a couple threats and left me and my cat there. And then my cat, the very same night that this happened, went missing. And I knew somebody had taken my cat because I was in a tent, and I keep Luna attached to her harness on a lead. So it's got a clip. And that is on the back of her, in between her shoulder blades on her harness. So when I saw the clipped lead laying there, but no harness and no Luna, I knew my cat didn't reach behind her own back and unhook the hook, the buckle. I knew he had done that out of retaliation, and I went 24 hours wondering if my cat was dead, eaten by an animal. There's coyotes, there's all kinds of large birds here, there's snakes, there's gators, and my little baby potato cat, who she can fend for herself, but she's never really been an outdoor cat. So I was a wreck. I contemplated suicide that night for the first time since 2011. And I was very close. And that ended up being the eve of, I believe, the Capricorn full moon. And I woke up the next morning with this whole new sense of focus, like, stop crying, Jen. Luna's going to come back. She's going to be back today, and you're going to get your life back. You're going to get back on your path, and you're going to fulfill what God called you to do in this world right now. And ever since then, I've been in go mode. Now, I do self-medicate. I smoke weed daily, and I'm never going to ever not advocate for that sacred herb, which is the only thing that has helped me in my autistic ways and neurological ways of providing any kind of relief. And I spent years under medical care with prescriptions. Nothing. As far as stimulants go, my choice is methamphetamine. However, I'm not your average tweaker, so to speak. I've been around all kinds of drug users and people. I've been a drug user. I've done crack cocaine, ecstasy, all kinds of stuff. Not for a long time, but I have done it. And in those circles of certain people, you learn behaviors and traits and addictive things, and you learn a lot. And what I did notice is I never was the person who was the one who was called, you want to go party? And da-da. No. I was usually called to figure out a way for somebody to get something, because I'm good at that. But I always wanted my medicine, and I wanted to be on my way and do my own thing, because when I do illegally, and yes, on the record, for the record, off the record, I don't really care, agents and bots, I'm telling the truth, whether that incriminates me in your law and order world or not. IDGAF, because I'm just sharing personal experience with my channel members, which I'm allowed to do. Anyways, and I apologize, I have to do things like that with the life that I live and the constant intrusion and constant trying to get me out of my character so as to give an out in order to lock Jen up in the insane asylum or jail or this or that, whatever. I am very particular. I pay my bills. I keep all my, like my driver's license, my tag is good. My phone bill, thanks to my dad, is paid. But like, I'm always trying to be better than what I am today in one or more ways, in whatever way I can. Even if that is just a positive mindset for the day and that's all I can do, I do it. So back to my story. 2 weeks, he left after 1 week, left me there. Cat went missing. I contemplated suicide. The next night, sure as shit, she came back, waltzing right up to me as if somebody just released her right there, which they did. Anyways, while I was at this camp, I was with these 2 men who, one of them was on heroin, I'm sure of it, by his demeanor, and the fact that he was naked 99% of the time, coming up to my tent, shining a flashlight in while he's naked outside my tent, while I'm a single female alone, sending me novels of texts because we all share phone numbers in this kind of lifestyle. It's good to know where somebody's at or be able to reach somebody in any kind of situation. It really is. Whether you care for that person as a friend or not, it's just good to have the contacts. So I was getting these novels and telling me these derogatory, vulgar, sexually explicit things he wanted to do to me and blah, blah. I am a trauma survivor. In 2021, I had to get a protection order in place, and it was granted. And I never got any justice other than that because I went to 2 court dates and the other party did not show up either time, but I did. And that's just me. I work on my life, and when I use stimulants like I'm drinking coffee all night or I'm using methamphetamine, which is also known as Adderall, which is also known as Vyvanse, which is also known as Concerta, which is also known as Ritalin. We got to get away from these stereotypes and stigmas. It allows me to take this autistic mind and focus all the explosions of colliding thoughts and intuitions and imaginations and everything going on all at once simultaneously, and it allows me to sort everything and work through and process each thing that I need to do. For instance, 3 days ago, I was sick as a dog, passing out in my car, couldn't keep my eyes open, so dehydrated. Spent 2 days ago in the emergency room at the hospital all day. I don't ever go to the hospital. I don't have a doctor. I don't have health insurance. For a good reason. And yet I was at the emergency room at one of my friend's requests because she really was worried and I just couldn't stay awake. Come to find out, I have both a bacterial infection in my GI tract and urinary. These are parasitic, and I spoke months ago about there was going to be an attack on the gut biome, And my friend told me today that she had tears in her eyes, and she said, "Jen, you looked like you were dying, and I had to call an ambulance for you because I was scared." And I said, "I'm glad you did." They hydrated me. I got a couple antibiotics. I'm feeling much better. Yet today, or not today, today is the 31st, which is actually my mom's birthday. She would have been 75 today. Happy birthday, Mom. I love you. And she's here with me. She's bestowing some astral spiritual gifts on me. I intuited that earlier and I journaled it, as a matter of fact. So I don't know what she's giving me, but something. And knowing my mom, it's gonna be something that I will need. Maybe not so much want, like a fancy something, but I would get some really good use out of it, and that may bring me some comfort. That's my mom. Anyways, so my 14 days finally came to an end, and I packed all my stuff in the car. I didn't even take my tent, and I came back to this shelter compound. But before I stayed, I went to the only domestic violence intake shelter in this city, and I did their whole assessment and intake, only to find out after I'd wasted the little drops of gas I had in my car and relived the trauma having to tell the story over. Then they informed me after the fact that there was no room at the inn. And I thought, oh, here we go with this whole domestic violence, because it's a bullshit homeless industrial complex scam, just like this place. We gonna get to that eventually, but this is my confession video. I went ghost on you guys, and I'm so sorry. I fell in love, or what I thought was love, fast and furious, burned out real quick, learned a real swift lesson on how to not fall for this shit anymore, and not go based on emotions like I always have, and not be sucked back into the lifestyles. And no, Jen made Jen's world, and Jen lives in Jen's world, and it's going to be Jen's way in Jen's world from now on anyways, because Jen spent the first half of her life like a doormat, just, okay, people pleasing, okay, I don't want you to have hurt feelings, I'll go for you, I'll do, I don't do that anymore, or I try not to do that anymore. And I learned my lesson. Now, he was so far into drugs as a junkie style, not a person who self-medicates or microdoses or uses responsibly or functionally, like my dad, who drinks alcohol every day of his life, but retired from his job after 30 years and barely ever missed a day. Like, the medicines and the drugs and the swapping for one another has got to end in this world. The medical industry is for profit. It is chemically based, inorganic, meaning synthetic, and not the best level medicine we could have access to, which would be plant-based. Or energy medicine, sound healing, medicine bowls, gongs, things like that. Nature therapy, birds, crickets, it's all healing. Purring of a cat, it's healing. It's literally been scientifically tested and proven. So anyways, I signed back in on my 14 days, came back here. And it took me 5 weeks of sleeping in my car, getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, surviving with barely any gas, so I can't run my AC. I can't roll my windows down if it's raining. You have to be able to be at the gate at 7 a.m. and leave at 7 p.m. Try to get a shower in if you can, if you're lucky. Charge your devices, and everything takes time, and before you know it, you got to leave the gate again. So I did that for 5 weeks, and just this past week, I finally got a 30-day bed again. That has given me a bed and air conditioning to get out of the heat, which here in Florida, I don't know where you are in the world, and if you have geoengineering going on in your area, my heart goes out to you. I deal with it daily. I'm somebody who has survived their nanotechnology, and I'm scarred for life because of it, and I have a lot of metals in my body. And with them heating up molecules and metals, and we are breathing them every day, there is a very, very hot, humid, UV, gamma ray, through the roof, microwave effect going on. It's so oppressive. You literally feel like you are being burned alive if you're in direct sunlight, like your skin is being singed. And it is. And I posted rashes I had gotten about 6 months to a year ago, and I posted pictures on my community page. Absolutely are radiation rashes. I did the research. I tried to be smart last year, and I bought some potassium iodide, and I keep a bottle of that handy, and I have taken one from time to time, and I will tell you, my symptoms do go down. I have blisters on the top of my scalp from direct sunlight that will not heal. They refuse to heal. And the insects have gone ham because of this. There is a torrential rainstorm for all of 10 minutes, and then the sun's back out, heating everything to a sauna crisp. And it's just killing all of us. Our biological environment is being depleted like so rapidly. Water, sky, everything. Food sources, all for AI. So yeah, I finally got back in. With the guy that I was dating, he was so far gone. He was IV using drugs and lying to me about it. Into all kinds of grimy stuff to get his drugs, even homosexual acts, probably tricking, because I used to do that back in the day. I'm not ashamed to say that either. It's a part of my history. It doesn't make me who I am. It helped me learn, and that is why today, even though I use substances, or a substance, illegally I should say, I will not degrade my character in order to get it. I will go without it if I have to. What my goal is to find a doctor who will treat me ethically and responsibly, and give me the prescription stimulant that I can take responsibly. Because the difference that I do have to face is I'm not where my product is being made. I don't know who's making it, and I don't know all what's in it. Now, I am very adept intuitively, so I can taste something and pretty much tell you what's in it. And I have been given fentanyl, bath salts, and things like that. Whereas if you have a prescription at your local pharmacy, you're not going to get a, bad batch of fentanyl in your Adderall, So I'm trying to avoid real risks and dangers, but still getting the medicinal help that I require. And so that's where I'm at with that right now. I span my stuff out and take it as if it was a prescription. And I live my life accordingly. And today was my catch-up day after being in the ER. and I got all my laundry done. I went on a job interview and was offered the job during the interview. Yes, I'm waiting for the letter of offer of employment so I can show the shelter, and hopefully they can get me back in that 90-day dorm. I also left myself open to going to a treatment center because prior to today, I have nothing holding me here. I have no income, no prospects. It's a bad situation. There's a lot of gang activity outside the gate and criminal activity and a lot. So, you know, for somebody like me, I am looked at like, I hate even saying this, but this is how it works. Recruiting. They look at girls here and they decide, well, your looks, your intelligence, how much money you come with, what do you do? Do you hustle? How much do you cost? Can you get more people? All these things are weighed, and you are either wanted and you're a target for somebody to have you as like a main bitch or a side piece or a whatever. I played that role in the past, and I don't want that life anymore.